All right, first and foremost, give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kakodash, double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and who was worthy to be counted for double honors. Peace and salutations to you brothers out there pushing in truth wholeheartedly and sincerely and full of the gospel. This is Brother Gabari from Indiana Camp, coming back at you again, one of the sit down. Basically, this video is going to be entitled, The Lord Has Likened Us Unto Women. All right, and if you ever look up what the word woman means, you would see why that is. All right, so we're gonna do it right now. I got the word woman pulled up in the etym online, or etymology if you will, but the word woman goes into, it says adult female human, it says literally woman, and that's why we call the woman woman, because what, she came out of the man, she was created for the man. All right, and then right here, here's the point, it says woman female servant. All right, so the word woman basically means, goes into being a female servant. All right, and who is she supposed to serve? Who is she supposed to be a servant unto? All right, let's get this in Genesis. This is Genesis chapter 3 verse 16. It says, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrows and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. You see? So means what, man? He's gonna basically be the head. All right, he's gonna be over you, and he's gonna basically be the leader, the supervisor, the manager, however you look at it. A woman, a wife, is supposed to follow after her husband. All right, now you might be asking yourself, oh well, what about a woman who hasn't married yet? What if she's still living at home? What if she's independent? Or, well, it was no independent women back in the ancient world. A woman would stay into her father until she get a certain age, and then he will go and marry her off if she wasn't already espoused. You know, if she wasn't promised to someone, and she grew up to become a woman, then she will basically just stay with her father, and her father would tell her what to do. Her father would be, in a sense, her husband. You know, of course, it wouldn't go that far, but a woman would stay up under her household of her parents. All right, and she would remain there until what, her father found a suitable husband, or a suitable man will come to her father and say, hey, I want to marry your daughter. You know, that's how things was run. But until then, she was going to be up under, some man was going to be over her. All right, that's why the scripture says, give not a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad. All right, now because of that, when you think of a female servant, like I said, this the Lord likens us into a woman. So if you look at, now I'm gonna reverse. Now I'm moving up the ladder. If a woman is supposed to be obedient, serve to her husband, how are we, us men, an Israelite man, supposed to be unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua? The same exact way. All right. This is matter of fact, let me grab this one right quick before I get that one. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 11. Matter of fact, let me do this one. Let me just this is one scripture just to prove the Lord has likened us into a woman. Where is it at? Jeremiah chapter 6. And yep, verse 2. This is Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 2. It says, I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. You see? So what the Lord has likened in Zion is going into an entire nation of Israel, you know, but he has likened us into a comely, delicate woman. So what the Lord looks at us as if we were his woman, as if we were his wife, you know. That's why in 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 1, chapter 11 verse 2, it says, for I am jealous over you with a godly jealousy, for I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin. You see, and every woman, when she gets a husband, back how it used to be, not today's time, back how it used to be, women were supposed to be virgins, untouched, when they get a husband, and they were supposed to stay with that man forever. You know, so back then, when they got married, death do them part, that really meant that. You know, nowadays you get a woman, she got 5, 6, 7, 18, 19, and I'm being kind right now. You know, the average woman now, she probably got 20 plus, and that's even on the low end. You know, the older you get, the just don't expect you to get a woman who body count is under double digits, might even be in the triple digits, depending on what type of life she lived. You know, but these women right here, they got bodies on them. You know, so these women are really, if you want to look at it, these women are really our women. You know, they really the husband of the first guy they laid with. You know, but anyways, so the Lord said, "Why He is jealous of you." So just imagine just imagine how you feel if your woman goes to work trying to please another man, trying to be all in another man's face, you know, doing what he tell her to do. You know, how would you feel about that? How would you feel? And she likes it, and she's pleasing into it. She's calling him, "Yes, daddy, I do whatever you want." You know, that shit is gonna piss you off, right? You know, so how do you think the Lord has felt when we go into the different idols, or what we even us men in the truth, how we put certain things over His word, how we cater to certain things besides Him. Here you is, you go to work the whole entire week. Now there's nothing wrong with work. We understand, the Lord understands our situation. We got to put bread on the table, but there's a limit. There's so much that the Lord's gonna take you. Lord, if you fucking on the grind 24/7 and you haven't did a video in 2-3 weeks, or you haven't read or studied in 2-3 weeks, or you haven't watched a video in 2-3 weeks, the Lord like, all right, nigga, shit, it's not that much working in the world. At this point, you just love your job. Now again, like I said, there's nothing wrong with with you working, especially if you behind on bills, you gotta get your money up, but you also have to consider the Lord and His work too. Now this work comes before all. This work comes before all. So that main physical job that you have, it has to go on the back burner. See, when it comes to this truth, when it comes to this work, you have to really look at everything as a secondary option, as a secondary choice. When it comes to this work, when it comes to your walk and your how about Shem Yahshua, this comes before all. All right, and I can't stress that enough. Anytime I talk to a brother, or apostle, or an elder, they always stress, they always tell me that, hey man, don't put nothing before the Lord. This is the number one work. This is the number one duty. Everything else is going to be burnt away. Everything else is going to be destroyed. All right. So what it says, for I am jealous of you with a godly jealousy. All right. So the Lord is looking at you as if you were His woman, and if you go and do something that you don't allow your woman to do, then guess what? The Lord, he gonna jack you up, like He'll jack your woman. You'll get on her case or whatever. Matter of fact, there's a word. What does it mean? I think it's jealous or godly. It might be jealous. I know the brother Amawan brings this word out a lot. If he's watching this video, if you watch this video, brother. If I can't find it, Bible Shop posted it in the comment box. But I know the word means no toleration for unfaithfulness. I want to say, is it jealousy? Envious consideration, zeal, behalf on a person, zealous and embrace, fervent spirit, a fierce and indignation, prevent zeal. Hold on, let me look it up. I'm looking it up on my phone. Bible shot. Give me 2 seconds. I wish I could pause the video so I don't have to wait that long. All right, Google ain't helping me out. All right, I'm gonna ask chat. The chat don't give me the answer, then I'm just go ahead and move it. It says the word probably okay, so they're saying it means zeal. They saying the word probably look up is probably jealous or zeal. It says as is used in the Bible, especially when referring to God. In English, jealous often means a negative meaning, but in the Bible, Hebrew word carries the idea of not tolerating unfaithfulness or divine loyalty. So right, it is the word jealousy. Yeah. I don't know why they didn't give it to me in the etymology right here. Or it's probably in the Strong's. Let me read a little bit in the Strong's. Without law, so embrace, and it's probably. Nation, fervent mind, enmity, malice, favorable sense, zeal. Okay. All right. Well, it's the word jealous. I don't know why it's not giving it to me. But anyways, so let me go back to. Yeah. So back in the Corinthians, when it says I am jealous over you with a godly jealousy, basically the Lord is not what he's not tolerating no unfaithfulness. You see, so what if you don't if you want to go just like I can't stress this enough, just like how you would do towards your woman. If you go through her phone or if you catch certain things that she seems like she's entertaining another man, you cut her off. You don't tolerate that. You don't what is it uh let that linger, or you don't give her the benefit of the doubt. You let her go immediately. Because if you do forgive, if you do say, all right, it's not that big of a deal, then guess what? It's gonna get worse. All right. So it's good to nip things in the bud right then and there, to not tolerate no unfaithfulness, not tolerate no folly. All right. Now I'm gonna get the one that I really just wanted to get, which is in the next book over, which is in 1 Corinthians chapter 11. I'm gonna start from verse 3. It says, "But I would have you know that the head of every man is Mashiach, and the head of every woman is man, and the head of Mashiach is Yahweh." See, so that's the ranking order. All right, you have who? The Father, who is Yahweh, and then you have up under him who is what? Yahweh Shai, who are the one we are espoused to as a husband to. All right, and then up under Yahweh Shai, you have what? Men, the Israelite man, specifically an Israelite man. All right. And then up under the Israelite man, you have the Israelite woman. And then up under the Israelite woman, you have what? The Israelite children. All right. That's the ranking order. That's the order it's supposed to go into. All right. And then you have the other nations and, what they got going on. But, their order is still the same too. They got the heathen man and then the heathen woman up under them. But anyways, yeah, so that's the order. All right. And then it goes right into here, which says what? The man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. You can even compare that to us. We were made to be espoused to Yahweh Shah only. All right. We're not supposed to go off from our husband, just like how a woman is not supposed to go off for her husband. All right. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. All right. And the scriptures talks about that. He says, what? I gave them you, and all mine are thine and thine are mine. So what? The Lord Yahweh created the elect to give to Yahweh Shah, just like how they created woman to give to men. All right. So it's all synonymous with one another. You can see the parallels between them. How a woman is supposed to be treated by her husband, and how a woman is supposed to treat her husband. In the same exact breath, how we are supposed to treat Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. All right. So right now, and the reason why we enter the predicament that we're in, and you can see how our women go off and be astray. That is supposed to be a representation, a visual aspect of how we went against Yahushua. How the Lord had felt when we went off astraying, when we went off committing idolatry. You know, how we were seeking after other gods and not our true husband. You know, that those things are not all supposed to be. So now we got our women doing that. And listen, I know how I feel. Majority of women, I ain't gonna say majority, but a few women I've been with, I've actually walked in and seen other men in the house while I was gone. You know, and that's not a good feeling. That feeling hurt. It's like a heartbreak. It hurts. You know. So, and every time I think about that, I'm just like thinking, like, damn, what could I have done to because I probably have made the Lord feel like that. You know, what type of idols or whatever I was worshiping in previous lives or in the time of my wickedness. You see, but I completely understand now. That's why me personally, I make it a effort. Like, listen, I don't want the Lord to feel like he's a second option or like he's a hoe. How do you treat a hoe? You call up when you want to call her. You hit her up when you need some late at night. You don't want to be seen with her. All right, you know, you get what you need from her, then you go for a week or two until you miss her again. And you don't even talk to her with dignity. You don't even take her out on dates. You don't bring her nothing. You call up like, hey, what you doing? I'm finna slide by. You know, you slide by. You do with her however long, and then you dip. All right, that's how you treat a hoe. That's how you treat a chick that you don't have no respect with. You don't want to treat the Lord like that. You don't want to treat the Lord's work and this truth like that. You pick it up when it's feasible for you. You know, everybody talking about deep shit, and you want to seem like the deepest in the room. So you be like, yeah, but y'all ain't used to this. Did y'all know this? And y'all know the Lord is black, and you know it says this in the Bible, and everybody looking at you like, oh damn, how you know all this? You be like, yeah, man, I be doing that studying, man. You haven't picked the Bible, you haven't seen the video, you read in months, weeks. You talking about you this deep, man. We do this for our pleasure. We serve Yahweh Bashem Yahushua for pleasure. All right. We don't do this with restraint. We don't get up and be like, oh man, I gotta go to camp today, man. Fuck, I gotta do this video, man. Damn, I don't feel like reading. And if you and let's like this. Even if you do that, we still do it. We still do it, even if we don't feel like we do. Even if we don't feel like doing it, we still do it. This is our duty. This is what it means to be a man. All right. Because who else gonna have our back? Who else is gonna stand up for us? Who else is gonna plead our cause? You looking for your woman? You looking for your job, your children, this world to please your cause? This world hates you. This world has been turned its back on you. All right. The only one that can save us out of this predicament that we're in is Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, man. All right? And I can't think of a better ending on that. So, Lord willing, I hope this video was edifying for you, brothers. I want to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Kakodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of great millstone who rule well and who was worthy to be counted for double honors. Peace and salutations to you, brothers out there pushing this truth wholeheartedly and sincerely and for the gospel. Until next time, shalom. Peace.